So I'm going to do another little response video here on 21 Studios. This actually kind of made me laugh because of the way she's dressed. It's hilarious. This is entitled, quote unquote, "I love the patriarchy." This just is getting kind of goofy at this point. Like, look at this woman. Look at her. Look at how she's dressed. straight out of the 19th century, bro. No, I mean, sorry. In all seriousness, I do like a woman in a dress, but I don't know. I mean, you know what? Like, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if women were like this, but this is really just like a parody at this point. It's really just like I don't even know. Is this woman trolling? Are women who dress like this trolling? Are they serious? I don't think this is serious, right? Like, this is almost a mental illness. Like, you can dress normal. Like, it's okay. You can wear things that you want to wear. You don't have to act like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think even men want that. I don't think even men like, oh yeah, I just want some subservient, like, she's acting like a robot. Like, there's a difference between, like, I don't know, man. There's a difference between, like, respecting your husband, loving your husband, supporting your husband, and then just being like a straight up drone serving your husband. Like, I don't think men want that. Like, I don't even know what society, like, well, you know, first of all, the comments on this are actually pretty good. Pretty interesting comments. Definitely some pretty interesting comments. But let's just listen to this, and then we'll get into the comments. Let's listen to what she has to say. It's fucking funny, but it's interesting as well. Let's listen.
Is the word patriarchy or patriarch offensive to you in any way?
Not to me personally.
Okay.
Not at all. It's something that I cherish it. I love it. I grew up
You
wanting
cherish
it.
the patriarchy.
I do.
When I'm hearing the message,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just it's so funny. Like, his beard, the way he's looking at her, their body language, this dude in the middle, it's just so fucking funny. It's almost like a SNL skit. It's like, are they trolling? All right, I'm going to play this again. I'm sorry, guys. It's just so funny. The visuals are so funny. All right.
is the word patriarchy or patriarch offensive to you in any way?
Not to me personally.
Okay.
Not at all. It's something that I cherish it. I love it. I grew up wanting
Cherish the patriarchy.
it. I do.
When I'm hearing the
Yeah,
message,
you cherish it because it takes care of you. You cherish the patriarchy because you like it when men are making money. You have a kink. There's something in your brain that's like, I just like to be owned. I just like to be this little wife, and I don't have to do anything in this scary world. I don't have to go learn a skill. I don't have to go to college. I don't have to be evolved. All I got to do is find a husband with money, and he'll take care of everything. He'll take care of me, and all I got to do is take the kids. All I got to do is raise the kids. Like, yeah, you like the patriarchy because of that, because it supports you. That's why you like the patriarchy. Because it does all the heavy lifting for you. That's why you like it. Now, I mean, at least in that sense, if you're going to do that, like, at least I guess I appreciate the fact that at least she knows her role, right? At least she's like, okay, well, that's my role. That's your role. This is my role. I'm going to do my role to the best of my ability. And she's probably going to make a good wife and mother. You know what I mean? As long as he's a good dude, and I mean, that's a good thing going. You know, I'll probably raise decent kids, and, like, I'm not mad at that in a way. I'm not mad at that. But also, like, for me, like, I mean, I understand that, you know, to her, it's about the roles, you know, like, the guy's got to make the money. If he didn't make the money, she doesn't love the patriarchy. If he doesn't make the money, she doesn't love the man. I mean, that's female nature, but people who are pushing for this patriarchy thing, you know, this traditionalism kick, you got to understand that it's still placing that burden of performance on men. Hypergamy still exists in a patriarchal family structure. It still exists. It's still there. If he stops making the money, she's not going to stick with her husband. She loves the patriarchy because it's her bread and butter. And she's playing a role. Yeah, she doesn't want to go be a career woman. She doesn't want to go work a 9 to 5 because that's hard. It's fucking stressful and it's hard, and she doesn't want to do that. To her, it's easier to raise kids, and it is. It's easier to raise kids than it is to have the stress of a 9 to 5. I mean, yeah, kids can be a headache, but it's not a 24/7 headache. It's not the burden and stress of performance at a career where, hey, I got to get this shit done by 5 or I'm fired. I got to get this shit done by 5 because I got these clients and I got this and it's a must and I have to do this. 9 hours a day, straight up work, 8 hours a day, straight up focused work, right? Okay, she might have some stress. Little Tommy pooped his pants and that was stressful for about 45 minutes, maybe, or really about 20 minutes until she cleans it up. That's stressful for about 15 minutes, and then it's over and she can go have fun watching DVDs with the kids. It's not the same thing, man. It's not at all the same thing. It's easier being a mom.
World smash the patriarchy. Why would someone want to do that?
Smash it?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
This guy in the middle. Look at this guy in the middle, making me crack up.
I think a lot of that obviously is based in fear. I think women as a whole we're afraid to relinquish any control we have or perceived control that we have.
Yeah, maybe.
Over our own lives or even over our own.
But why does she want to relinquish the control? Listen to what she's saying. Read between the lines. The reason why she wants to relinquish the control is because it's stressful to have control. It's stressful to be in control. What feminism did is it successfully twisted, brainwashed women into thinking that being in control was cool, that it was the thing to do. Well, there's a lot of responsibility and stress that comes along with being in control. Oh shit, you're in control of your own future. Damn, that's a lot of burden. That's a lot of stress of performance. Right? Now, this woman, she's like, she's got to figure it out. Oh, wait a minute. I can just sit home and I got my rent paid. I got a bed to sleep. I got a nice bed to sleep in. I got a nice home to live in. I got a roof over my head. All my bills are being paid. All I got to do is give this guy sex, raise his kids. Sounds like a good deal to me. Right? So that's why she wants to relinquish control, because she understands that it's stressful as hell when you're a free bird and you're out in the world and everything that happens to you is on your shoulders. That's stressful as hell. Sure is easy to just sit at home and rest on the husband, right? This is female nature, man. This is what... Don't think that women aren't thinking about this kind of stuff all the time, right? Oh, I got to get me a man so I can take some of this burden off. That's what it's all about, man. A lot... I don't know the percentage, but it's a lot. 8 or 9 out of 10 marriages, just based on that, man. Just based on that alone. I can't do this by myself. I need someone to help me. I don't want to do this by myself. It's stressful. It's expensive. It's time consuming. Out here working, out here taking care of my kids by myself. I need a man so I can take some of this burden off. And wouldn't it be nice if all I had to do was stay at home and the man made enough money to, that's what a traditional woman is. She's essentially just an accessory to the home, right? No, it might sound like I'm pumping up women being independent. I don't know, man. I don't know if there is an answer to I don't even know if I have a point here, because it's just like, you can't win, because at the end of the day, they all want you for your money. You can't win. At the end of the day, they all want you for utility. They all want you for what you can produce. Love, attraction, sex, intimacy, pair bonding, all that is secondary to you having finances. That is the number one thing women want. If you let a woman tell it, she might say, oh, I want love, I want this great romance, I want all, but only if the guy's got money, only if he's got survival skills, only if he's got resources to help her raise kids. That's it. It's all contingent upon those facts. You got to understand this is female nature.
Desires. And the thought of giving that up. I know for my mom, she did not cherish the patriarchy. She was a good woman. She did not cherish the patriarchy. It scared her. That's what she talked about. She was just afraid. I watched her be very afraid to hand anything over to anybody else. And I think it's that fear of a lack of control. And it drives us to anger, and it drives us to do all sorts of things.
I don't think it's a fear of lack of control. I think it's because I think that in female nature, women like it when men do stuff for them. Women like it when men shoulder the burden, right? I don't think that's what it is. I think that it's a power struggle. I think that the reason why feminists and so many women today hate the patriarchy is because it's a power control. They realize that men, in a sense, are winning and leading in society, and really it's because that's what our function is. That's what our function has always been. That's been our role, to go out there and succeed. Unfortunately, you know, for better or for worse. I talk about that, right? It's hard having the burden of performance. Men are utility, right? But what women have done is they realize, well, wait a minute, I give up some of, and so maybe that plays into what she's talking about. I give up some of my power, but she uses the word control. I would say a better word is power. Right? You know, power, control, they're almost the same thing. They're very similar words, right? I think it's power that women are afraid of losing, because when you have to be I don't even know if I'd use the word subservient. Submissive is a better word, because if the man is the breadwinner and you're living under his roof, in a way he is running the show, and this is what they would call the patriarchy. It's essentially just male leadership, right? The man leading the family, right? So essentially what women wanted is when women say equality, it's a different type of equality. It's not equality based on, you know, humanity. It's an equality based on power. Women want an equal power, but I don't even think that's it. I think feminism is more of women want all of the power, because I believe feminism is a supremacist group, is a gender supremacist group. That's what I believe. So it's a power grab. It's a when, you know, when she says my mom was afraid to give up control, what she's really afraid of is losing power, right, to the man. What she's really afraid of is that the man has more power than her, which means they're not equal. But you got to understand that if you are choosing to live under a man's roof, if you're not paying 50% of the bills, then yeah, he's the leader of that family, and he should have the power. But what I've seen in the last 50 years, or the last, you know, however many, you know, decades since the 1960s it's been, what I've noticed, and in my life and in history and you know, marriages and people, you know, families that I've been around, is that what the man does to keep the woman happy is he makes it look like she has power. He makes it seem like everything is equal, when in reality he's shouldering the you know, all the burdens and the responsibilities. You know, paying all the finances, running the show, making sure everything's good, and he's just kind of like making it seem like everything's equal to placate her emotions, which really is kind of cuckish. Really, it's kind of like, dude, she's got your balls in her purse, you know. And this is something that I've spoken about on my channel forever, is that these guys, a lot of these husbands are really cucked psychologically to their wives. Happy wife, happy life, right? That's what that is. Oh, I got to make her happy and make it seem like, and these women are just delusional. You know, so many of these women are just delusional, and they've got this weird power dynamic where there's this power struggle. Even the Bible talks about it, I think. Yeah, it does. In Genesis, I forget the verse, you'll have to go look it up. It talks about, it says, a woman will be in opposition to her husband, or she'll be, a woman will be, I want to look that up real quick. Give me a second, I'm going to Google it real quick. And it's God who said this. You know, this is in the book of Genesis. A woman's, God, let me look this up real quick. Sorry, guys. A woman's opposition will be to her husband, something like that. Be to her husband. Genesis. Let's see. Yeah, your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. Let me get a better translation. Genesis 3:16. Let me get a better translation here. Your pain will be in childbearing. In pain you will bring forth children, and your desire will be to your husband, and he will rule over you. I had a really good explanation of that somewhere. Let me see if I can dig a little deeper into that. In pain, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between. All right. Let's see. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you will bring forth children, and your desire will be to your husband, and he will rule over you. Someone, I forget where I read that, but it was a while back. Someone said that actually women are, kind of opposed. Your desire will be to your husband, and he will rule over you. And when it says, and he will rule over you, it's like, dude, oh God, that's a mind fuck, man. What a mind fuck that is. It's like, why? Why did God make women like this? So problematic, so fucked up. And it's like, I used to go to this church when I was younger, and they made a joke about it, because in the Bible it says women are supposed to be a man's helpmeet, H-E-L-P-M-E-E-T, helpmeet, kind of like, helping them meet the demands of the world, or the demands of life. And I used to go to this church, and they made a joke about, they're like, my wife is a helpmeet. She helps me meet God, right? Because you argue so much that you got to pray. You argue so much that you turn to God because you're just so frustrated with this person. But the reality is that there's something hidden in this verse, and I forget where I read it. It says, and your desire will be to your husband, and he will rule over to you. Let me see if I can do a little digging here real quick. And he will rule over you. Explanation. See, there's something in there. There's something hidden in there. And it has to do with women wanting a power struggle. Yeah, here we go. In direct response, okay, having children may bring her great pain, but bearing and giving birth to them would require severe pain. More children would always bring more pain. The marriage relationship would now be strained. Instead of simply being the source of love, comfort, and belonging the woman would desire. It's unclear exactly how the second part of the curse about the husbands and wives should be read. Scholars have offered various interpretations of this subtle Hebrew phrasing. Most interpret this to mean that the woman would desire to be in control of her husband. Look at that. But he would be the master. Others see this as implying that the woman's desire for her husband would be frustrated by his role as an authority in her life. There you go, man. Let me keep on reading this. Male headship in the marriage relationship is not part of the curse, and this idea is not implied here. On the contrary, God's response to this incident proves that Adam's role as leader and protector was intended before sin entered the world. The New Testament makes clear that God's design for human marriage, with husband as the self-sacrificing head, is meant to be a beautiful picture of Christ and the church. Instead, it seems this curse involves conflict over the God-given marriage roles. Adam and Eve both failed to uphold God's intended pattern of spiritual leadership, and it caused the greatest disaster in history. This is especially felt in our individual lives as each spouse fails to live up to God's design for selfless love and respect between husband and wives. Wow, that's a mindfuck. This is called BibleRef.com. So I guess BibleReference.com, Genesis 3:16. Wow, man. Let me just read that again, man. The marriage relationship would now be strained. Instead of simply being the source of love, comfort, and belonging the woman would desire. It's unclear exactly how the second part of the curse about husbands and wives should be read. Scholars have offered various interpretations of this subtle Hebrew phrasing. Most interpret this to mean that the woman would desire to be in control of her husband, and he would be the master. That's what I think it means. Others see this as implying that the woman's desire for her husband would be frustrated by his role as an authority in her life. Maybe that too, I don't know, but that's what I think this stems from. It stems from control. That's what a lot of feminism stems from, particularly with regards to the patriarchy. Women are trying to there's a power control. There's a control, and this is why couples fight a lot of times. Male headship in the marriage relationship is now part of the curse, and this idea is not implied here. On the contrary, God's response. Okay, yeah, all right. But yeah, man, wow. That's a mind fuck, right? So it's like it's like part of the curse, right? Part of the curse. Here's another one that says, man was woman's head from the first moment of her creation, and when the New Testament talks about the subordination of woman to man, it does so on the basis of Genesis 2 and not on the basis of Genesis 3. The foundation for this teaching is not the curse of the fall, but the original purpose of God in creation. So apparently in the New Testament, they try to reconcile that curse. The curse pronounced in Genesis 3:16 does not institute subordination as such, but it does make this relationship irksome for both parties. Yeah, so apparently God cursed the woman to fight with, have a power struggle with the man, but the man is going to rule over her because of finances or because it's part of her nature to let the man, to be submissive to the man. But yet, what a mind fuck, man. What a mind fuck. Kind of reading on here a little bit, but I'm going to get back to this video in a hot second. The will of God for his human creatures is described in terms of made in the image of God, companionship, partnership, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. The accounts suggest equity with differences, beings in partnership as God's creation, design, and intention. In the perfection of paradise, there is no need for superordination or subordination. Both walk with God. Yeah, okay. When sin enters, all relationships are now ruptured. Enmity sets in. The delight in each other is no longer present. A struggle for dominance ensues. The man blames the woman and God for his own participation in the fall. The woman blames the serpent. All self-justify at the expense of the other, fracturing God's intended unity. Each is now corrupted by the desire to set oneself up as gods, a desire which causes humankind once again to be alone. A hierarchy of blame and control is established. So it's like, no wonder marriages fail. The woman's trying to beat the men out, right? I mean, this is classic shit, right? This is where this stuff started from, right? This is where radical feminism started from. It started from Genesis chapter 3. It started from the fall. Right there, Genesis 3:16, man. Right? In Genesis 3:16, now the woman will turn from God to her husband, and he will rule over her. Both male and female made in the image of God together will rule over the earth. Since the fall, work for the man becomes painful toil because the cursed ground produces thorns and thistles. The man's relationship to the earth, originally as intended by the Creator, let them have dominion. Joint rule, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, equity with differences, blah, blah, is altered because of sin. And the self-centered pride is conceived for the first time, the desire to rule over you. The command of God was to subdue the earth. After sin entered, humanity began to subdue humanity. To tread down, have dominion over. So that explains what's going on today, why everybody's being ruled by other humans, right? Many women use the Lamaze method of childbirth as well. Let's see, 3:16. Wow, that's fucked, man. That's fucked. This is something I've been interested in for a long time. Like, I guess that's why, man. So let's finish this and hear what she has to say at the very end here.
And I'm not sure what that fear is based in. I don't.
Again, it's not fear. It's a power control. And it turned into a fear because modern feminism is fear-mongering. Modern feminism is all about fear-mongering. Modern feminism is all about propaganda against masculinity to demonize masculinity. Masculinity is something that's good. There's nothing wrong with masculinity, but modern feminism and the modern left have demonized it. And they want to make everyone gay. They want to make everyone feminine because, the evil patriarchy is so bad because they started wars and they oppressed women, all this shit, right? Like, a lot of it is just lies. It's founded in lies. It's not to say that some men aren't evil. It says right there that there's going to be men ruling other men. Humanity, having dominion over other humanity. That's a part of the curse. It's all there in Genesis. It's part of the curse. Why countries have had slaves for millennia? Because of that. Because of the curse. So they got this boogeyman, like, oh, it's men, it's masculinity we should be afraid of. The divine female, right? The female, the fairer sex, she can do no wrong. Yeah, bullshit. They're killing their kids, 500,000 kids a year through abortion. They can do no wrong, huh? Like, come on. You're not living in reality.
You have generations of women who couldn't trust their fathers or their husbands, or I haven't really decided for myself what I think that's based in. But they just seem scared.
Yeah, because modern feminism is pumping them full of bullshit. Anyway, so someone asked, where does the fear from, I need to edit this comment, but someone asked, where does the fear from patriarchy even coming from? When was the patriarchy, right? And I said, apparently the patriarchy was before the 1960s. It's arguable if it ever existed in the first place, at least insofar as the name patriarchy is. Like, there was this, because what is the patriarchy as defined by modern feminists? The patriarchy is this evil, oppressive conspiracy, and what does the word conspiracy mean? It means a joint effort to subtly make plans behind the scenes to do some kind of insidious evil on a large scale. That's what conspiracy means, right? So modern feminism talks about patriarchy as if it's some kind of large-scale conspiracy to oppress women. That never happened. All that happened was men did their role, which was be a leader in the family, because that's what our role in humanity has been, in human nature. It's never been the women's role to go out and work and make money for the family. Women have done that role, but that's not culturally the role of women. That's culturally the role of man. Man has the burden of being a provider. He has the burden of performance to get resources. That's all the patriarchy is, according to these women. Right? So really what these women essentially have rebelled against is not the patriarchy in men directly. They've directly rebelled against their role in the family unit, right? Indirectly, they are, throwing mud and throwing dirt on masculinity, throwing mud, throwing dirt on men. Indirectly, they are attacking men by telling lies about our nature, that we want to oppress women and all this shit. Indirectly. Directly, they are fighting against their role. That's what it is. It's fear because she was a product of this fear-mongering of her generation. 1960s, what do they start doing? Putting out all these pamphlets, all these radical feminist pamphlets everywhere, right? What do they start doing? Teaching Marxism in college, right? Feminism is a product of Marxism. Study Marxism, right? Study what these teachers are teaching these young women at college. It's Marxism. Radical feminism is a product of Marxism. It's related, right? So men have just had the burden to provide. That's all that the patriarchy really is just male leadership, right? Which in and of itself is its own whole set of problems for men. Imagine only being worthwhile and wanted as long as you can provide resources. Otherwise, you're nothing. That's one of my major points of my channel since day one, is that if you don't provide as a man, you're nothing, and a woman's going to leave you, and she's going to skip out and jump on somebody else. So of course this woman likes the patriarchy, because she's decided that insofar as a man is providing, she wants to play this role of being this little homemaker, and she doesn't have to have any burden or anything like that. So of course she likes it. So there's some interesting comments here. That's true. That's true. I don't know about that. I think a lot of women are confused. I think that, most women do like the patriarchy, again, insofar as it provides resources for them. Interesting comment. Stupid comment. Kind of an unrelated comment, but sort of related. Yeah, but why? You know, why couldn't you trust your fathers or husbands? Because you were being told lies that they were evil by radical feminism. There you go. This right here is the comment that wins the day. Why is patriarchy seen as a bad thing when historically females expect that men provide? Exactly. It doesn't make any fucking sense, right? You want us for our money, but you don't want us to lead, right? You want us to provide resources for you, but you don't want that, you know, to be submissive to us. So it's like, what are we paying you for? Essentially, it just becomes it's essentially just a prostitution scenario. You're not our wife. You're just our prostitute that has decided to move in because we're paying you. We're feeding you and giving you a home. And you could call it love. Again, you could call it love. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I guess you love me because you chose my house and my money over some other guy's house and his money. You call it love. But again, if I lose my money, that love is out the window. Well, I just don't love you anymore. Or if I don't perform or I don't do this or do that. Women's concept of love is certainly not loyal, right? It's a pretty twisted concept of love. It's certainly not a loyal scenario. And this is a woman who asked this. Or no, excuse me, that's not a woman, but this person right here. Big old buff black dude. But and this woman says, I love the patriarchy. I grew up under those values and I still live under patriarchy rules. Yeah, just so long as the man provides. Or else you're gone. Her love and her loyalty is only insofar as his checks are cashing and the bills are paid and the mortgage and the rent is paid and he can provide. That's it. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.